Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm House Democratic Leader Sam Singh, and me and my colleagues are here today to specifically talk about how we help our young people as they deal with long-term debt, as they try to get jobs and how they try to get a college education. Over the last 7 years, the House Republicans and the governor have had an opportunity to fund higher education and actually make that a part of their program. And unfortunately, one of the first acts that they did as they took office was to cut higher education funding. And unfortunately, that has put more of our college students behind than ever before. And so as we began to talk to our young people throughout the last few years about what we could do differently, we've put forward proposals that the Republicans have refused to take a look at, such as bringing down higher education debt by providing tax credits. And so we said very clearly that for us as a state to move forward, we have to do something different, we have to do something bold, and that's why we're here today. As you all know, only 47% of Michiganders have an associate's degree or higher, or have a certificate that allows them to do something in a technical trade. At the same time, 40% of our Michigan households are struggling to afford the basic needs to get by, whether it's health care, just paying the bills, or making sure that their family has the adequate things that they need, such as food. And now, to be able to get a higher education degree, you're finding that the average Michigan student is going to incur $30,000 worth of debt. And so as we're taking a look, as we hear report after report about opportunities in the skilled trades and how we get more people to jobs, we've said that we have to make that connection. We have to help people with their long-term college opportunities, make sure they don't have that debt, but then we also need to make sure that we're filling jobs that are available right now, that people need to go to a community college to get a certificate. And that's why we're putting this program together here. We want to make sure that everybody has access to the community college experience and make sure that they are able to attend community college debt-free. Also, the higher education components of this will allow somebody to get a certificate to go after a skilled trade. If they desire to go to a four-year institution beyond that, they can then take those credits and move to that four-year institution. And so we see this as a great opportunity, not only to help our young people get the college degrees that they need and the certificates that they need, but we also know that we can impact the economics of the state of Michigan and fill jobs that are needed right now. So this is a win-win situation, a win for those young people and those families. It's a win for the companies that need jobs filled now, and it's a win for the Michigan economy. And so we're pleased to be here. My colleague Adam Zemke from Ann Arbor will talk a little bit more about the details of the program and the initiative. Representative Zemke.
Thank you, Leader Singh. I'm Adam Zemke, and I represent the city of Ann Arbor and a few of our surrounding communities. And you know, individuals with a post-high school credential earn 56% more than their peers without one. And that's according to the Economic Policy Institute. Those higher wages increase their standard of living, allowing individuals like them to have the freedom to build a better opportunity for their life and for their families. One where we can invest in their future and our children's future. One where they can save for emergencies. And one for them to be able to plan for a safe, comfortable, and dignified retirement. More than that, the higher earning power has a ripple effect across the state, and that's what Leader Singh was talking about. Because those extra dollars mean that they are able to spend more to support their family, to enjoy things in life, and to do things to help their community. Whether it's participating at their local grocery store or their local bank, or having a night out at their local diner. Those dollars end up back in our local economies, driving our communities, our state, and our country forward. But years of higher education funding cuts have left people strapped with massive debt. I can tell you this firsthand as somebody who's going to be paying off higher education debt for many years to come. Without the ability to afford the education that people need, and that's the reality, people need higher education of multiple forms today. Students are relegated to unskilled, low-paying jobs, and it's a cyclical effect. They get stuck there. And Our neighborhood businesses suffer because people can't afford to shop local to support their local retailers. They can't afford to go out. And so we've got to do something about this. And we're not going to let it continue to happen here as House Democrats. That's why we've got the Hired Opportunity Act. No one should be priced out of the education they need for a job that allows them to take care of their families, plan for their future, and save for their retirement. That's why the Hired Opportunity Act makes the most significant challenge that Michigan students face to receiving education: the cost. A strong economy starts with a well-educated workforce. We know that in Michigan. We know that from the jobs that we have that are skilled jobs that are unfulfilled. Our plan makes achieving that education possible without forcing our young people to choose between incurring massive student debt and pursuing an education that allows them the freedom to do what they want with their life. The first track of our plan allows recent high school grads to enroll full-time in a community college program and receive a community college opportunity scholarship for debt-free tuition, regardless of income or regardless of the zip code they live in. All you have to do, it's very simple, is fill out a FAFSA, enroll full-time at a Michigan community college. By filling out the FAFSA, we know that we can ensure that all students are taking advantage of all of the financial opportunities that are available to them. And they can do it at a community college of their choice. In order to maintain eligibility, students will need to enroll in a mentorship program. And they are needed to do this for a couple of reasons. One is to ensure that they're not only receiving the education that they deserve, but also the guidance that they need to turn the textbook concepts into practical reality. They'll need to fill out a community service component to help ensure that they're not only becoming well-educated, but also well-rounded and participating in our communities. And they'll need to maintain at least a 2.0 GPA of continuous academic enrollment for up to 2 years as they work towards their certification, their degree, or their credit accumulation to be transferred to a 4-year program. Democrats believe that if you're ready and willing to learn, to receive the training that you need to join the workforce, to improve your family's life, to earn a strong paycheck, to help our greater economy move forward, then nothing should stand in the way, and certainly not debt. The Hired Opportunity Act literally makes that possible. And there's another component that I think is really important, and that's the components of getting folks back to work. And to talk more about that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague from Detroit, Representative Gay-Dagnogo.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here to talk about increasing our pipeline to hired in higher education. Thank you, Rep. Zemke, for that great information that helps to enlighten us on how we can create these opportunities for all of our students throughout the entire state of Michigan. As a first-generation high school and college graduate myself, I know firsthand the importance of a quality education and the opportunities that higher education provides. As a mom of one son who got a scholarship to go to higher education, South Carolina State University, but came home and said, "Mom, that wasn't for me." But now he wakes up every morning at 4:30 a.m. and gets right out to a program where he's learning welding. That's increasing the pipeline to our skills trades. He graduates from that program on June the 15th, and he's very excited to utilize those skills he's garnered in that program. I talked to a mom on my way in, one of my constituents, Sharon Burton. She talked about her son and his desire to go to higher education when he was in middle school, and then now in high school in his final year, he's now afraid that he won't have the opportunity. They live in Brightmoor, and we talked about ways that we could realize those opportunities for him in the city of Detroit in getting enrolled in our community colleges, and so that's important. But as a former educator, I learned very quickly that the definition of success is that every child learns differently. And so they all have different desires and different passions, and we must be able to support their desire on those different paths. And talking to a number of our young people, our millennials, and how we attract and retain them in our state, we want to make sure that they're not sacked with a bunch of debt. I certainly have my share of debt with student loans, being a graduate and an alumni of Wayne County Community College, Henry Ford Community College, OCC, but ultimately I got my debt from U of M and Wayne State University. I guess you say I went to a lot of schools, but as a first-generation high school and college graduate, I even went to school in the UP. I was just learning my way, but I'm thankful that I graduated with honors. And so that's why this is a very important issue for me to provide the pipeline and the pathway and the promise to all of our students throughout Michigan. If we want to truly strengthen and empower our next generation, we have a responsibility to provide the space and opportunity for our students to utilize their unique talents and abilities. No two paths to and through school are alike. That's why our plan allows for individuals to chart their own course, to know what is right for them, whether they graduate from high school or later in life, when they decide to pursue a new career and additional training needed for a stronger paycheck. The Hired Opportunity Act includes provisions to help strengthen worker training for those seeking to go back to school. And that's what we want to encourage, regardless of what side of the aisle we come from, to sharpen their skills or to make a career transition. Non-traditional students make up a growing percentage of those seeking to further their education. It's time the programs and policies we have in place acknowledge them. Our plan eliminates the single greatest barrier our students are facing today by removing the financial burden that holds many of our Michiganders back. Any individual seeking to earn a credential, skills training, or fulfill a degree program at a state community college will be eligible for a debt-free tuition through our retraining program, focused on high demand and emerging industries like healthcare, renewable energy, and biotechnology. This program isn't pie in the sky. It is achievable, and right now, by properly prioritizing our state budget and ensuring that corporations and the wealthy are contributing their fair share. The Hired Opportunity Act plan builds on opportunities for all by putting students back in the driver's seat of their own lives. I recently went out to Howell to operate engineers, and I had an opportunity to drive a high-low. I think that's what it's called. It was really huge. I was moving boulders. I was in the driver's seat shifting the gears. I never thought it was so much fun. And I have to be honest, as a former Detroit Public Schools science teacher, I probably put a lot of pressure on my son that he had to go to college. I didn't realize the pipeline that exists in our state for our skilled trades program. And he's the type of student that loves to do things with his hands. And that's why he's doing so well in the welding program. Who knows? Maybe if I got to operating engineers a little sooner, maybe I might have been a high-low driver. When we unveiled our Democratic priorities for 2018 earlier this year, we spoke out about opportunity, about our understanding that when families have the freedom to pursue that opportunity, we all win. But when it comes to that pursuit, the ever-climbing price tag for higher education stands in the way. The fact is, we can't afford to wait any longer to make this vision a reality. Michiganders deserve the freedom to choose their own educational and economic future. Our plan paves the way for that. We're committed to providing that for our students today, to prepare them to drive Michigan economies forward for tomorrow.